Hello, dear ones. Hey, I wanted to just share with you something the Lord's been speaking to me a little bit about today. I love to take time alone. As much as I'm an extrovert, I'm also an introvert. So I love being around people. I love talking to people, and I love that. But I have to have my time where I'm alone, and I like to be alone just as much. And it's crucial and imperative to my life and my well-being and my existence that I take time to be alone with God and walk with God. One of my favorite places is this garden. I'll show you guys. It's beautiful. You can kind of see it. There's flowers everywhere. There's fountains. It's just beautiful. It's one of my favorite places to go and to walk. But as I was walking and I was just admiring all the different flowers, and you know, I thought about the fact that each flower, each different type of flower, they're not cared for the exact same way. Certain types of flowers need a different type of maintenance or different type of pruning. The gardeners know that. They know each different type of flower, what it takes, what it requires to keep it alive. Not just to keep it alive, but to help it grow to its full potential. And as I was walking and just admiring the beauty of this, and even thinking to myself, I'm very mechanical in the way I think. So I don't just look at something as a whole. I want to know, like, how does that work? Like, how did that get to be where it was, right? Like, my mind processes everything in the details, and so that's not always a good thing, but I think in this case it was. The Lord began speaking to me about that. And here's what I want to share with you guys is, you know, each of these flowers, as beautiful as they are on the surface, they had to be watered from the root. And so the gardeners don't focus as much on the flower itself as they do on the root, because the root is where it grows. The root is where it gets its source. The root is what causes that thing to flourish. And so I was thinking about that in terms of our spiritual walk with Jesus. See, it's easy to prune the top. It's easy to make it look right. It's easy to make ourselves look good, to look pruned, to look like we have it all together. But the truth is if you aren't watering the root, if your roots don't go deep, if you are not rooted in the soil of Jesus Christ, if you are not solid in that, it does not matter how much you prune and you try to wash yourself, because the Word of God says it's not what goes in a man that defiles him, it's what comes out of him. And so if what you're putting in yourself is not living water, is not holy water, number one, you're not going to be satisfied. Number two, whatever you allow to have access to your heart, to your root, has the potential to destroy you or the potential to empower you. And so I was looking at this whole beautiful garden. It's beautiful on the top. It's beautiful on the surface. But it can only flourish because of what they're doing at the root. See, each and every single one of these plants and flowers has a root in soil. And it's the soil that the gardeners pay attention to. The top of it's just maintenance. But if it wasn't for that soil and that root going deep, that flower wouldn't even be in existence. So I just want to encourage that, man, some of you need to understand, you got to start watering your roots. You got to start digging your roots deep. You got to get into the Word. You got to spend time with God. Nothing else is going to satisfy you. It doesn't matter how much you weed whack the top of things. And here's another revelation. I won't go into it too deep because this video is getting long. But here's the thing. You know, a lot of us weed whack our gardens, right? And we make it look really, really nice. But the truth is that the root is still there in some things. And as long as there's a root, as long as there's access to something, it will grow and it will eventually come back and come back and come back. You got to be willing to rip that thing out. So some of you, this video is for two different types of people. Some of you need to dig your roots down deep. You got to get rooted in the things of God and the truth of God and the righteousness of God. You got to be willing to get dirty, right? No more fluffing it up. You got to be willing to get dirty. And the other type of person watching this video needs to be able to pull some weeds out. You got to pull some of those roots out so that you're not feeding things that don't belong in your life, because those are the things that have the potential to destroy you. And that's what the enemy does, is he wants to destroy you. He wants you rooted in what's wrong. He wants you rooted in destruction. So you got to be willing to pull those weeds out, not just weed whack the surface so that everything looks nice, right? You got to be willing to get dirty. So I love you guys so much, man. That encouraged me. The Lord spoke to me so much about that. And I think he's going to speak to you guys too. So I love y'all. I'm always praying for you. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.